All right, guys, let's talk about Mateusz Koweki from Poland. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but this is how I'm going to say it. Mateusz Koweki was a 30-year-old Polish man from a small village called Hutkow. He had been working in Hanover, Germany as a construction worker for about 5 years and lived with his father, who also worked in Hanover. On March of 2018, he headed to Poland to see his pregnant fiancée, but never made it. So Mateusz had a long-distance relationship with his Polish fiancée who lived in a village called Lipia Góra in northwestern Poland. She was pregnant with his baby and close to giving birth. Therefore, Mateusz set out driving his BMW around 11:30 p.m. from Hanover to Lipia. This was on March 28, 2018, and it was going to be a total of 402 miles. He was due to arrive between 8 and 9 a.m. the following morning on March 29th. However, he never made it. So according to his father, he called Mateusz around 10:30 a.m. on the 29th, and his son tells him there was a terrible traffic jam on the way, and he's stuck in that town. Now, that town is on a Polish-German border on the way to Lipia Góra, about 133 miles from the destination. There were no passport checks from low staffing at the time, so there was no recognition or cameras to verify all this. Around that time, he also sends a text to his fiancée saying that he would be there in around 2 hours. Now, becoming increasingly worried after unanswered call to Mateusz, his fiancée gets in touch with his sister around 5 p.m., but unable to reach her. Later that night, Mateusz's mother goes to the police, but they discourage her from filing missing persons report as it's too early. So finally, by early April, the family finally reports Mateusz as missing in both Germany and Poland. The German police refuse to investigate as they believe Polish authorities are on the case. The family then asked the Polish police to locate Mateusz's cell phone, which was apparently on for a couple of days after his disappearance, but the police are unable to do so because Mateusz was using a German SIM card. So German police can't locate his phone either, as Mateusz disappeared in Poland. But later, the Polish police claimed that Mateusz's phone never connected to the Polish network, and it is unclear where he received the call from his father. So Katarzyna, Mateusz's sister, said that investigators claim that Mateusz never crossed the border as CCTV monitoring at the border crossing indicated that he had not entered Poland. Frustrated with the efforts of the police investigation, Mateusz's family began their own search for clues in the disappearance and checked the entire route, going into side streets, checking gas station staff, asking for video surveillance, going around markets and towns near the border with Mateusz's picture and posting posters with his image. The family even appears on TV in Poland and Germany several times and complains that the police are not doing enough to take the matter seriously. Now, on September 12, 2018, a neighbor comes to Mateusz's mother's house in Hutkow to ask about the barn and the terrible smell that's been emanating since July. That was probably a dead animal. The neighbor asks her if he can go check the barn thoroughly. And when they get there, they walk straight in. Half the barn is walled off. They go up to the attic or the mezzanine area, the level on the top. And as soon as the neighbor climbs up, he sees a pile of clothes. Upon closer inspection, he's shocked to see that it's actually human remains consisting of a severed head and a torso. The corpse is too decomposed to be identified. Further examination of the area showed there were also 2 rope nooses hanging from the roof and a backpack on the floor, which was later established to belong to Mateusz. Some of Mateusz's teeth are also knocked out and stuck on his clothes, with what seems to be blood, and there were bloody patches on his clothes. Inside his backpack was a Polish water bottle with cigarette butts and orange juice box. Mateusz's family says that he never drank orange juice. He didn't like it. Now, a cell phone in the backpack showed that there was one call to his uncle on March 30th, 2018, but this seemed like an accidental dial as it only lasted for a second and never got through. So this means that Mateusz, or either his phone at least, got to his parents' barn. So he left on the 28th, but on the 30th, there was a call for a few seconds. DNA analysis was conducted, and it was confirmed that the remains were indeed Mateusz's. There was no other DNA found on any other item. The police and public prosecutor maintained that the death was a suicide and refused to investigate it further despite appeals and effort from the family. They believed that Mateusz had planned his death beforehand and said there was no evidence of foul play. Get this, 4 days after the body was found, Mateusz's family found his shoe with a severed foot in it. This showed the family that the police had never even really inspected the barn properly. Now, the police actually did do some investigation, and it turned out that all of the places that Mateusz was telling people that he was at when he called were not true at all, and he was really going into a hotel in Slubice about 24 hours after telling his family he was already in Poland. He went into that hotel with an unknown person. That person has never been found out to this day. His car is never showed. And the family says that it seems so very unlikely that they wouldn't notice a hanging body and the smell of a rotting